Start winning at the races with Daily Racing Form's new mobile pass performances, featuring exclusive buyer speed figures and expert analysis and selections. Go to drf.com/best and get the power of DRF in the palm of your hand. Hi, everybody. Dan Ullman, Mike Beer, the DRF race of the day for Sunday, July the 5th, race number 10 at Prairie Meadows. Let's take a look at the field for the Grade 3 Prairie Meadows Cornhusker Handicap. $100,000 is the purse. We're going 1 1/8 miles. You can download free formulator pass performances for this race on the race of the day event page at drf.com. Access them, handicap along with us. And Mike, I think the two major components of this race that handicappers want to consider, the 1 1/8 distance and the pace, because as we look at the Timeform US pace projector, we're not expecting a lot of speed at all. I mean, Dumpf came from just off it last time out. He's a clear leader on the pace projector in a blue bar scenario.
Yeah, we'll see if it plays out that way. I mean, obviously there's not a ton of speed in this race. I'd be surprised, though, if Dumpf just got absolutely loose on the lead in here. I mean, there are a couple of horses, at least down towards the inside, who could get a little aggressive and be a lot closer than the pace projector has done.
And one of those horses is My Sixth Sense. And My Sixth Sense is that he's going to be sent from the inside post because he's very capable at 1 1/8 miles. I realize that win came in an off-the-turf race, but he won that race in gate-to-wire fashion. I think they're very confident in his ability to stay the distance. He hasn't proven himself to be a stakes horse just yet, but if he can get to the front to control the fractions, he might take these a long way.
Yeah, that's what I thought was interesting about him, too. I'm not quite sure that he's good enough, but he is versatile. He handles a lot of different, surfaces, wet, fast, or, sloppy, fast dirt, anything he'll handle. And he has won the distance before. And I'm with you. I think they're sending this horse.
The 2 is Sir Anthony, and Sir Anthony is a horse that's pace dependent. And if this pace projector plays out, blue bar situation, favoring horses on or near the early lead, Sir Anthony could be in big trouble. He won this race last year when he got a big pace setup. I was disappointed last time out in the Howell's Hope, Mike. Okay, maybe he's not supposed to beat those kind of horses, but he got a big pace and he didn't do any running.
I was disappointed in that race as well. The race did set up very well for him. He just never ran. He wasn't the only one who disappointed in that race. So I'm not going to be too hard on him for it. I know that he's good enough to beat this field. We'll see if he gets the trip that he needs.
Just Whistle, the runner-up from that Howell's Hope. He came back to win the Sunday Silence with a 95 buyer. Night Ops is the number 3, and Night Ops has really improved for trainer Brad Cox this year. He won the Essex Handicap 2 starts back, going 1 1/16 miles, and he was simply overmatched against the likes of By My Standards, Warriors Charge, and Mr. Freeze, 3 very good handicap horses in the Oaklawn Cap. He's a nice colt, Night Ops. Again, it's all about what kind of trip can he get. I think he can be a little bit closer than the pace projector as him. Doesn't he have more speed than Sir Anthony?
Yeah, he was one of the horses I was sort of referring to in the open. I do think he's going to be more forward in this race. And listen, to me, he's just a contender in here. I know his last race wasn't good. Prior to that, though, his form was actually, very good. And he's just very tactical. I mean, one of the drawbacks for me about him is that he keeps getting perfect trips in his races when he does well, but he could get a perfect trip in this race, too.
Sheriff Brown, the number 4, is taking a step up in class. First time for Steve Asmussen. This horse has been campaigning at Sunland Park, where he took on a salty old-timer. Restrained Vengeance won that Caribou, and he came back to win the All-American at Golden Gate on a synthetic surface with a 103 buyer. This horse is stretching out in distance, stepping up in class. I'm going to take a wait-and-see approach.
Yeah, I'm not going to take him in this race either. But listen, he ran an 85 buyer 2 starts back. That puts him, close. He's going to have to improve off of that. But it suggests that he has it in him, and he's very lightly raced till he could take another step forward here.
Sonny Smack is stakes placed at Prairie Meadows. He was second in the Prairie Mile a couple of years ago. No match for Dumpf last time out, and this is a horse that's pace dependent as well. And he got a good setup, I thought, in that Oaklawn race. He came with the run. If the pace is slow, he could be in big trouble.
Yeah, it could. Listen, he's in tough in this race anyway, and his running style doesn't help him.
What a nice old-timer Net Gain is. The Iowa bred, he's 8 years old. He's banked close to $500,000 in his career, and he likely needed his last race at Canterbury, an optional claimer going a mile, his first start in 6 months. He gave an even performance. He can improve off that race, but I do wonder if Father Time's starting to catch up, because towards the end of last year, he really didn't fire his best shots.
Yeah, that's what I was worried about. I mean, he has a race or two in him that would give him a look in here, but he just hasn't run one of those in a while.
Rated R Superstar, he's a graded stakes winner. He's another horse that needs pace. He is a one-run closer. They dangled him in for $80,000 last time out at Churchill Downs. He lagged at the back of the pack, and he just didn't fire. And I'm a little bit concerned that Rated R Superstar has seen better days.
I think he certainly has seen better days. And you're right, maybe nobody is more compromised by a slow pace than he is. Again, I don't think the pace is going to be as slow as the pace projector thinks it is, but I don't know if it's going to be fast enough for Rated R Superstar to have his best chance.
Downtowner, like Net Game, should benefit from his seasonal reappearance. His last start was his second start of 2020 off a 5-month layoff. He ran into a really hot horse. Hunk of Burnin' Love won that race, then came back to win an allowance with a 94 buyer, then came back to win the Lone Star Mile with a 99. That horse has won 4 in a row for Carl Broberg. 3 back, Downtowner ran a 93 buyer at 1 1/8 miles. Maybe this is his best distance, and he's always run well over this track.
Yeah, and he's got a little bit of speed to get himself in the game early as well, so he could really fall into the right trip in this race. His form has really improved since he was claimed last August. I think he's really taken a step forward for his new connections, and he could get a very good trip in this race.
And just when you and I and seemingly the rest of the world got off of dump, here he comes. First start off the Diodoro claim. Let's watch his race at Oaklawn Park. Now, he's 57-1 in this race, and he's already taken over under a confident ride, and he's going to win this race like a 2-1 shot with a 98 buyer speed figure over a couple of next out winners. He was stakes placed at 2 on dirt. He was stakes placed at 3 on turf. It looked like he was never going to achieve his potential. His last 2 races, well, maybe he loves Oaklawn Park, but boy, if he runs this race, he's going to be real tough again.
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly true. And again, that race felt like it came out of nowhere. I think that's because you and I, who were fans of his early on in his career, had just totally given up on him. Diodoro obviously got him back to his good race, and he had shown plenty of potential early, so maybe Diodoro just has the key.
Are you worried about the 1 1/8 with him? This is his first time going this long. They've tried to keep him at slightly shorter distances. The way he won last time out makes me think it won't be an issue, especially if he can stay close to a slow pace.
Yeah, I'm still worried about it because he is a horse who I just always thought wanted to go shorter and not longer, but we'll see what happens.
Let's take a look at our top picks. Sunday's race of the day, the grade 3 Prairie Meadows Cornhusker. Mike, you're going with Night Ops. That last race, just in over his head. Those horses in the Oaklawn Handicap are just better than he is. A lot of folks are going to look at his form and say, well, he's a wet track horse. I don't believe that. I just think he's reached peak maturity for Brad Cox, and he's sitting dead red on this race.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how we looked at him, too. Again, he's just the kind of horse who can, he's very tactical. He gets really good trips in his races, and it just feels like he's going to get another one here because he's got plenty of tactical speed.
He's my second pick in here. I'm going to go with Dumpf on top. He's just in good form right now and maybe gets the jump on Night Ops turning into the lane. Mike's going 3-2-9-1. I'm going 9-3-7-1. The grade 3 Cornhusker is an approximate post 802 Central. Good luck.